G'day, welcome back to Project Brupeg, the story of a sunken fishing trawler converting into a global expedition and research boat. This episode, we've got a heap of internal work to do. We make a new office for Jess, so we're building a bench that goes in the new editing studio. We figure out a lee board and a headboard for the new bunk that I made, and then also a bit more work on our sliders. We're trying to take some bend out of the steel that we welded. Righto.
Oh, mosquitoes.
Wall one. I need to cut a board to stick her into here. What I need to do is measure how thick the board needs to be, because we have to slice a piece of this Baltic pine up so that we can stick it up as a stud.
Alright.
Here's a piece of 50mm that I epoxied earlier.
It's 40mm too short, but
Oh, wait a minute. No, we just look. Wait a minute. The plan that we're working to is we need to get the boards sized up and cut so that we can epoxy them. Mainly so that we can have no edges of open wood, partly for smell, but also for rot. Rot's basically the thing that kills wooden bits in boats. So what we need to do is use this template that we've just created. We're going to get our straight edge sorted. We put this wall in because we need it to mate up really beautifully. So we'll get that done. Trev's just getting the little angle contraptulator that we've got. It's a brilliant little tool. It's basically a level, but it has a lever that comes out, a digital lever, and tells us exactly what angle we're working with, and that's what's allowed us to do all of the weird and wonderful angles in this room. So we'll get that sorted, and then we'll be able to cut this last panel, epoxy the tops of them, and then get them glued in and nailed in today. Okay. Cool. That's that one.
that's very good. Oh, 87.
Okay. Bang on. From that edge there, it's 900.
Oh, from that edge.
Yeah. No, we might have to do a bit of a jiggle up to get it in, because I'm just thinking the reason why I cocked that up while I was 50mm short is because I put the board up, measured hard across, and then just went straight vertical, and the boat disappeared by 50mm.
Right.
I'm just thinking in order to take account of that, we're probably going to have to put it in on a funny angle.
We're used to that.
I think we'll get it in, yeah.
If we're trying to put it in normal, it'll
won't
go
work.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it wrong. This one's got a few lumps we have to shave off. Judder bars up and down the wood. Okay. So theoretically, if we run that down like that, that should be spot on. Right, you good there?
Yep, I think so.
To find myself lost in our conversations, cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken, cause you glue all the pieces back together.
So how hard is that?
Up there!
Better? Like that?
Yep, like that.
Probably.
Lovely jubbly. So we just have to trim a bit out of there, don't we? To get it to tip over properly. I thought these pipes would be inside the wall. I didn't realise they'd be out. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Very nautical. Very nautical of you.
Very nautical. now that we've got both of these panels in, we're going to make a template for right up above the door there. You can sort of see where that light's coming from. We have to basically seal that up as well, because that's where the ventilation for these rooms eventually will be coming down and through.
So, we just want to put that there.
Tuck it under it.
And mark it there.
Yep.
And shut it there. It should fit, shouldn't it?
Theoretically. That's going to be a straight edge too on that board, isn't it?
It depends who cuts it, I suppose. So if I hold that there, can you measure the length we got?
It is turning into night time out here. It's pretty cool. Sunset again. Trev, he's on stud duty.
Oh, I found a stud. It wasn't up the top of the stairs.
So what we're building is a combination stud, piece of 35mm Baltic pine, and we've got some 15mm ply, and that's going to make...
Ladders, seen the handles here?
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, have you seen the handles? They're wonderful.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. We should have done that years ago.
At least 6 months ago.
So the plan is basically join a piece of 15mm ply and 35mm Baltic pine, and that gets us 50mm stud, and then we can stick these ply boards onto the roof. Today it is blowing its guts off, and we are building a mount for Jess's editing Mac. We're changing the office around. This is going to be the second mount that we've built. The last one, you see the link up in the corner of the screen now if you want. Well, there's a link in the description. We built a hinged folding, quite cool little mount, but now we're chopping it all in pieces and we're making it totally different because we're building that room into an office. So that's what I'm working on at the second, is the mount for that Mac on the wall. I've shortened up the mount considerably, as you can see. So I'll put a couple of tacks in just to make sure it all works measurement wise. I think it's going to be fine. But yeah, now we need to weld it in properly. So, welders and tools galore, and a duct taped linear actuator, but that is what's left of the mount. So solid welded down there, polished it off, etc. It doesn't move in that orientation over there. The linear actuator here allows the screen to do that and go back and forth in that direction. And then that's what you're left with. So you got the screen relatively low down. Jess's lazy boy will be positioned under it. I've just got some blocks of wood down the back there just holding up the insulation because I had to glue a little bit of the insulation because it started to fall down. It's cut slightly too small. But what we're going to be doing now is putting a bench that goes in this area here. So I'm just going to go down now and start setting up the plywood, get that cut out, and we'll get that fitted in.
I've said it many times, I know I would change my ways, I know for sure.
Before I get carried away shaping it, I need to know if it's going to fit. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. That's 35, isn't it? It's close enough. Okay, let's grab another one of those.
One this thing.
That will do. How close are we? Get in there.
It's an unbelievable big space.
Yeah. The wall's got a slight wobble.
I love it.
Put quite a lot of shit on this bench.
I love that the computer is off the desk.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's fun. That there, and then you're going to have like a fin and then wrap around.
Yeah, just grab it.
Oh, I was just getting excited. The size of the desk, and then there'll be like another desk, maybe the same height,
Yeah.
along here, like an L shape, and
Yeah.
wrap around to there, and then kind of cut in here, so you can easily get in and out with our wheelchair. Everything we need to do, we're able to do from here, editing.
Yeah.
It's going to be a room full of computers.
It's going to be great.
Looks amazing. Looks amazing.
Right, 1,070. I'm building a headboard. This guy So
Going in there.
yeah, we've got a bit of a triangle weird spot that we need to put a headboard on, so I've got some 17mm ply. This is C grade, B grade, so I'll give it a skim and sand it up so it's beautiful. I'll route it all off and make the edges lovely and all that sort of stuff. And this is an offcut of the bench to the studio next door, so yeah.
Wow, it's
Yeah,
going
so-
to happen, eh?
So Trev's currently sanding, Trev's sanding the lee board that goes down the side of the bed here. And the plan is we've got the lee board, this is all to be epoxied. We've got the lee board, the headboard, the desk and the walls downstairs. So we'll mix up a big batch of epoxy, a couple of buckets, and then me and Trev will go in different directions and just start painting like crazy. And get things in. But we've got quite a bit of routing to do on all of these. So we like to, I like to router the edges so I get a real beautiful finish. I don't like saw cuts, I'd rather route the edge. And then I like to router over that way as well. I like to put a radius on it, because then you just end up with like nice, this was all routed, so you end up with just really easy, beautiful, lovely corners and stuff. Yeah, rather than
Beautiful, isn't it?
yeah, rather than like cutting it with a saw. Yeah. Takes a bit longer, but you end up with a much nicer edge because you get a blade shaving it off like a planer as opposed to a saw kind of ripping through it. Yeah.
Okay.
I have an idea. It's a little bit fancy but simple. I have an offcut and I'm building a headboard to fill in a triangle space that can't be used. I'm thinking about putting that on the top of it
Oh, awesome.
because it'd be pretty easy to do, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Easy for you.
Oh come on, it's easy for you.
I can't
Yeah.
even think of it.
No, we can do that. You stay there. And then it goes that way. Whoop, whoop. That'll do.
Wow, beautiful.
Let's make one of them.
You need a pen?
Is that squarish?
Looks good at this end. You got consideration of insulation?
Oh, I've got to trim some of that off.
Oops.
Oh, there's a level next door. Can you grab the level next door? That's level there.
Okay.
Didn't realise it was going to be that easy. Like you can lay down in bed and do it.
Yeah.
Lying around on the job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Like, you could make it like you could put stuff in it later on. Not now. But
Yeah, I was thinking it's wasted space at the moment, but I was thinking you could do something with it.
yeah, like put a bottom on it and a back, and you'd have a little
Cubby
sort
hole.
of cubby hole. Yeah.
Or we'll probably just leave it as a hollow box for now.
Yeah, yeah.
We should probably focus on getting the boat in the water
You
before
need
we...
to have something to do in the future.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just keep increasing jobs for ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that with you? Do you need that down there?
Yeah, I'll grab that. Actually, I don't know what I need it for, but we'll grab it anyway.
Oh, sorry.
Alright.
Anything else you need to take? Like the bench?
Yeah, we'll grab the big bench in a second. Get these down the bottom and then come back for that, I guess, eh?
I can get this down the bottom without going down there. Just catch.
That's what the sides are for.
That's what the ground's for. Just catch it.
So decision time, do you want, if that's the headboard and that's the shelf, do you want them sort of bang on the corners like that? Or
Sorry, I didn't catch that. What did you say?
Okay, so if that's the headboard and this is the shelf,
Oh, yeah.
do you want them joined like that, or do you want the shelf down an inch or two so you got like a little fiddle?
Oh, definitely.
Little fiddle?
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds wrong.
Like that.
So we've gone through with a router. You can see right along that edge there, there's a nice routed curve. So what we have to do now, that's pretty rough. We need to go through now and sand it. So Trev's just going through and
When we finish sanding it.
it will be. So Trev's going through and giving it a sand up now. I'll race up and grab the bench and we'll router the front edge of the bench, and then we should be ready to start epoxying these down.
60.
Lovely. Alright, I might just borrow this power for 2 seconds.
You can borrow it for as much as you like.
What I'm thinking is I'll route this out.
Yeah.
We need to make some little stainless inserts. So the cabin that's now becoming the studio in Brupeg used to be Mishy's little hideaway den. That was our bed, and he had a little cave underneath the bed and everything. So I'm going to put a little surprise in for Jess in this bench. This is always going to be Mishy's room, and I think it's probably best if we have some sort of permanent shrine to him. So we'll put that in and see how she takes it. So aluminium, when it's shined up right, it's one of the most reflective surfaces on the planet. And that's really important for what I'm about to do next, but you're going to have to wait to find out what it is.
Got nothing to be scared of. I'd rather be with you by myself. Now all is in your hand.
What I need to find this morning is some big chunky bits of steel down in the shop. Let's go see what we've got. Stainless isn't going to do it. It's a pain in the ass to work with, so let's go with something steely steel. Right, what I'd really like is a piece of say 50 by maybe 10 or 15 mil, 16 mil thick, something like that. Alright, I've got a bit of 100 mil by maybe 10 or 12. Don't know if any of our other options are going to be enough. Alright, I think we'll go with that. We're doing some upcycling. Piece of old 100 mil rusty steel. We're going to turn it into some wedges, which are going to be used to fix the curve that we have in our sliders. So these are our sliders that we're working on. We've got one that's partially built. You can see it hasn't been welded all the way down. It's splayed out at the end. This one here has been fully welded on one side, and if you look along the length, you can see that there's a bit of a curve going on. It does a big bow. So what we're going to do today, we've V'd out the inside. You can maybe make out, let me see if I can move it into the light. There you go. You can see that we've cleaned out that slot where we have to weld. We're going to go over it again with the grinder because that was done a couple of days ago. It's a wee bit rusty. So we're going to go and clean that out again, and then we're going to try and weld that, and then we'll use a hydraulic jack, a bottle jack, and bend it. If we need to crank it up anymore, we'll bend it with a hydraulic jack and some chain. Little easy trick to bend long lengths like that. However, what we do need to do is make sure that it doesn't compress in or bow inwards. So we're going to start making up some wedges with this 100 mil offcut here. We've got our drop saw here. We'll slot up a whole bunch of steel that is 42 millimeters wide, and then we'll wedge that in, weld up the slider, and then take the wedges out.
We want at 41 when we're finished.
So let's go 43, and if we have to, we can crush it. What we're doing is building a little jig so that we don't have to measure it, because we're going to make a whole bunch of these little wedges. So rather than having to measure every single one, we're going to screw some wood either side of the saw so that it's held firm, and then put a little vertical stop screwed wherever it needs to be, so we can just keep sliding, cutting, etc. Something like that, and then the stop will be up like that, and that allows us to just buzz them off real fast. Do you want me to screw these blocks down?
Yep. Well, as long as one of us do. I like to give you the importance job so that you feel wanting it.
I don't want to screw this up.
No.
See what I did there?
Screw. Sometimes you can feel screwed down, can't you?
Oh, that's screwed.
You know you're burning it too long when you know you're looking for a certain piece of wood and you know exactly.
You know the bits of wood by name almost.
Yeah. How many wheels we got?
Oh, 10.
Right.
Yeah, we won't run out.
Famous last word. We don't want these here.
Everyone's bottoming out. Yeah. I can't cut that deep. We might have to go flat.
Might have to.
Yeah. All right.
Measure what you want.
I cut it okay when it was vertical, but it didn't go all the way through. Yeah. What I'm thinking is maybe we cut them all 90% vertical and then we just finish the last bit with the grinder.
With cutting them vertical, it's cutting it straight.
Yeah. Put a little bit of something under one end. Bit of 3mm or something.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to flip it up the other way. This is upside down. We need to flip it that way because then you'll have the opposite cut. Yeah, perfect. That's about 37.
Yeah. What's the top?
About 52. So start with that. We can just test it. If we swap the blade, we'll get all the way through.
Right.
Let's go test if it works.
That's about 42. If you slide that in where it's got to. Right.
Got a wee bit of space.
Right.
What do you make that?
39 maybe.
Alright.
Hang on.
What do you got there?
How much do you want?
I reckon 43 because then it'll crumple back in.
That's 41.
It's not bottoming out on the radius,
No,
is it?
no, that's good. Go again. Yes, only 41 and a bit.
One more?
Yep.
One more. Like that.
Just about bottoming me out now.
Is it?
Yeah. Might just flick that sideways.
What do they hit? What do they hit? Oh, okay, it's actually on the bottom. How much have you got?
41.79.
Oh, fair enough. Was that you measuring on inches and then converting? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, going into thou. Yeah. Let's make the wedge slightly bigger on the next one so it doesn't bottom out so much.
Yes.
Like slightly wider means we wouldn't have to worry about that bottom.
We can fix the bottom.
Yeah.
We could
like scallop the corners off, but if we go wider we don't have to bother.
We just cut that much off the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 52 right there. Just hold there. Just knock them all home, they're all the same. I'll spread the welds out. couple of inches, well, it's an inch, isn't it? The welding didn't take out as much curve as we were hoping, so we came up with a little idea to try and reverse some of that bend. Just like to introduce you to a press that all boatyards have. It includes the keel of a trawler, the ladder on a stand, and a trolley jack. And if we look along the length, you can see that we've got a very, very slight bend going on. So what that's doing is, while that's cooling down, it's holding it in the shape that we want. And we've still got, you can see the wedges, they're still tucked in the bottom there. That helps us be able to kind of hold the shape in all dimensions, really. So we'll get stuck into number 2 and see if we can get another slider made. We had to replace our MIG gun. So this is a MIG torch that we use all the time for welding. We couldn't work out why we were getting a gas leak in this particular torch. It just kept, you know, leaking gas all the time. We couldn't get gas to come out. This is the gas problem that we were having the other day that we thought we'd have to take the gas welder in to get serviced. Turns out it was a hole in the lead itself. This is the torch cable itself, and this in here you have electricity, the welding wire flows down as well as argon, and the outside had basically got a whole bunch of holes in it, and we had to tape it up as a stopgap measure, but that was what the problem was. It was all leaking out of the cable. So there was no way of solving that, and those aren't replaceable. Well, they might be replaceable on commercial machines, but not on this machine. So it's actually cheaper just to buy an entirely new torch. So that's what we've done. That was a 3 meter torch. The one that we've got downstairs that we're using is a 4 meter. The reason I didn't want to do the 4 meter thing early on is because I wasn't sure if the flux core wire, which is quite soft, it's a bit like solder, or solder as Americans like to call it, it's quite soft. So pushing that down 4 meters is obviously harder than 3 meters. So, but we're used to it now, so it's not too bad, and it seems to be working. We've been welding with it all morning, and the results are coming up pretty good. So I think we'll just stick with the 4 meter lead. Time. My partner in crime, she yells out, "Food's ready, hurry up."
It is ready.
This is our kitchen, taken over by bloody, what do you call them? Crate things. They're everywhere. Look at this. We're cleaning them all
They're
out.
handy for leaning on.
They are handy
and
for
you
leaning
can
on.
use them for soups.
This is true, multi-purpose.
They're very handy in the kitchen.
Yeah, they work really well.
While you're waiting for the food that's ready.
Yeah.
How are you guys going down there? Are you getting it done?
In there, yeah. One fully welded. We're just trying an experiment to see if we can get it to unbend, and another one about to start.
How long does that take?
What's the time now?
I don't know, probably
About this time next week.
farting around about an hour each one at this stage.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just the pressure straightening it?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And letting the heat sort of as it cools down go into a particular shape, you know.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you're doing it as soon as you've welded, is that what you're saying?
As soon as, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Try and mop it. Yeah. This is one that's not welded, obviously, but
Yeah.
around the corner is the one that we've been working on.
You're kind of going slightly over the 41, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. When you weld when it's warped like that, aren't you welding it into the warp?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hoping that the weld that we put in will counteract it and bend it the other way.
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
No. So you need to drive over it on the ute and park on it.
That was discussed, actually.
Way too light.
Way too light?
Way too light. I might go and get the effie.
If we stick my ute in the back of your ute,
Yeah.
we'll be fine.
That's why you use Brupeg.
Yeah.
She's maybe heavy enough to put a bit of...
It's at least
resistance on.
equal to my ute inside his ute. Like ute Russian dolls.
40 tonners maybe just enough.
Yeah.
I love your setup.
Yeah, it's a doozy, isn't it?
Awesome, eh?
Yeah. These are 43. When we bash them in, they open at 43, hoping that when it cools down, it squashes back up.
41,
Yeah. If it stays open, we can crush it in the vise. If it stays closed, it's hard to open it out. So.
Probably use a big hammer to close it.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So how do you straighten out that bend?
Just use that jack
Yeah.
more brutally than what we have.
Basically, if you get some chain tight to each end and do it up like with the beam across the bottom and the chain up to a point, and then with a bar and a jack, and you jack it up, it'll pull the ends up. It'll bow it like a bow and arrow.
Geez, that must be a bit of force.
Yeah, you need a decent jack. That's why we were looking for one the other day that was like a 10 or 20 ton jack. It won't need that much force, but a 20 ton jack makes it easy because you can do it in small increments.
Yeah.
And you're not overloading the jack. Like the one we've got is only 1 ton or something. It's not even remotely strong enough. You probably need 3 or 4 or 5 ton of force to bend it.
So we need to find one that's good enough.
Yeah.
Without love in your heart, without love by your side, without love playing part, tell me what you do, tell me what you do. Without love in your heart, without love by your side, without love playing part, tell me what you do. Tell me what you do. Some people walk through this life, not on their feet but on their face, standing on the edge of a knife, hoping to get by, hoping to get by.
So what we need to do now is go through and weld, and the plan is to mitigate the warpage that we were getting last time. Is instead of welding fully on one side and then flipping over and welding fully on the other, we're going to do, like, say 6 or 8 inches on one side, flip it over, do exactly the same 6 or 8 inches. So as the metal cools down, it's pulling and contracting exactly the same on both sides. Hopefully that's going to make enough difference. At the moment it's relatively straight, so it's a wee bit hard to see, but if you look along that edge there, you might maybe, what have we got, probably 8 mil, 10 mil bend, something like that in it. So that is pretty much how it came off the press. Like we've welded it on the back, which will induce a little bit of bend, but probably not massively because it's only tacks. But yeah, we'll see how we go. The plan to hold the metal apart is to put our metal wedges that we built, these things here. We're going to knock a few of those in to hold it open, 43 mil, and then we're also going to use a bit of scrap alloy bar that we found in the bin that we're going to just use as a bit of a heat sink, but also as a sizing tool. So we've got some 40 mil bar and then about a 3 mil steel that will jam beside it, and that's also going to help us sort of mitigate that creep.
So much stronger than you think, and you do the best you can. Oh, you can paint the whole world in pink, when really it's black and blue. Oh, so black and blue. Without love
It's working all right, eh?
It's straightening it.
Yeah.
inside, without love playing part.
Holding it nicely open, it's good.
It really is bending.
It is.
Yeah, still.
What way? Like in a good way, bad way?
The same way.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. It looked like it was straightening for a minute, but no, just imagination.
So we just keep doing what you're doing and
We just straighten them.
straighten them, yeah.
All right. Well, it makes it faster. We can just belt on and.
Yeah.
Welding.
We're gonna make it cool.
Ah, sweet as.
I thought you said you were going to go where it's cool.
We're so cool. We're on fire.
Clearly.
We're smoking anyway.
Yeah.
If it's not one, it's another.
We're smoking on this job.
You're having quite a time there, aren't you?
Alright, don't knock. I'm just quietly going. Thank you. No
Right
one needs to
there.
witness anything.
I don't know if you could quietly go on with all of those buckets crashing over.
Crash, bang,
Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
pop,
Dump,
it's over. But I'm in.
All right, let's roll it and I'll do that. I'll get that one there. So look at that, perfect, absolutely perfectly straight. No warp whatsoever. Just don't look at it along that length there, because, you know, frightening and all that sort of stuff. This is pretty warm at the moment, so we're going to carry it around and put it under the boat like we did the last one, crank the jack into it and see if we can take some of that bend out while it cools down.
Anything inflammable against that,
Yeah.
that will be hot.
Okay, you got more, you're still negative. Still negative, about even now, so you go a bit more if you want and overbend it a bit more. Yeah, anywhere around there's probably enough.
Probably have to go another 2 inches, yeah?
I know, well go for it if you want.
Can we go another one?
Yeah. I think we could, I don't know if the jack can.
Oh, the jack will.
Yeah.
Right, let's weld the next one.
Alright, she's sitting over there tucked in. Once that cools down, we'll know if that's taken the bend out. We're not going to find out today. We'll let you know if it worked. Last few jobs of the day. So this is going to become a lee board on the new bed in our room. This over here is the headboard, and then there's a little triangle piece that sits in behind that's going to be basically a shelf. So Trev's going to join those together. And by the time that's fastened together, we'll be able to epoxy it. I'm going to start epoxying this now, and then this will end up being painted white. In fact, both of these will end up being painted white. But yeah, for now we just need to coat it up with epoxy, and then we're also going to be coating up the wall that's being put up in the freezer room, which is going to become bedroom number 2. It's always a bit of a race against time at the end of the day to get enough heat to get the epoxy to set properly. So yeah, we normally put a little bit more hardener in when we're painting at this time of day just to make sure that it sets, but we'll get this done and then we should have our furniture pretty much ready to start fairing up. So a pretty thick and liberal coat of epoxy, and we put it on with a fluffy roller, not because it leaves a good finish, it doesn't. It's mainly because we want lots of thickness. So we stagger the coats by 10 minutes or so that the first one's sort of into the wood, then the second one chemically bonds. By the time, it's a wee bit light over there, you can sort of see. But yeah, basically that's the first side done, and this is the back side of the headboard, so it's just a decent solid coat. We don't have to make it look pretty. But this side here will be sanded down and faired and made lovely and so on. So we'll wait till that's all dried and we'll start getting that down, and we'll sand it down initially to 120, and then we'll just keep piling layers and layers on at 120, and then final coat, before we do the final coat, we'll get it down to 240, sand it down to 240 grit, and then put the final coat on, and you end up with a really pretty much mirror finish. It looks really lovely. So yeah, cool. So we'll get those done tomorrow.
This is Gordon's trawler. He was building this when we were building ours a couple of years ago. It's been in the water for a while and he's just pulled out for a bit of paintwork. Thanks for all your support over the years, Gordon.
You got eyes like summer sky. If you're smart, could kill or die. And now it starts to rain, so let's enjoy it.